No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. With me, my good friend and special guest, Russ Cook with Russ Cook & Associates over in Brentwood, Tennessee. Russ is a board-certified estate planning attorney. And I used to tease Russ about board, exactly what that meant. I'm thinking around the holiday Thanksgiving table, whatever. Russ in particular, his family, you come by it honestly,
yes.
Right? Your father, your grandfather.
Father and grandfather were also estate planning attorneys, so I couldn't escape it generationally.
So you can imagine how exciting the dinner conversations would be around that table, right?
Lots of laughs, and I'm sure bored my mother to tears.
Poor thing, yes.
Yes.
So she's just like, pass the wine, please, or something.
Yes, right? Exactly.
We're going to talk about, we've talked a number of times, and one of the things in my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement, the 7th step is that of estate planning. And to talk about, with that estate planning, we get into the basics of estate planning, the difference, what the importance of powers of attorney, power of attorney for assets, power of attorney for health care, the difference between a living will, for instance, and a last will and testament. We talk about trusts and the difference between trusts and that last will and wills and how they work. We get into probate and how that fits into the picture. So all of that we've covered in there. Today we're going to talk just briefly about the basics and then get beyond the basics of estate planning and how you can use some of these different strategies, some of these different documents in different, depending on your family's needs, how they can be used to your best advantage. So first off, one of the things when you're talking about a trust versus a will basically is where you're just letting, making it known what you want to have happen to your stuff when you're gone, if there's anything left, okay? The best, I talked about a quote here, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. This is where it comes into planning, right? Where we're talking about retirement planning, whether we're talking about estate planning, we have the choices that we can make. We can in fact decide exactly what we want to have happen, and we can set it up to make sure that in fact it does happen. All right, now one of the things, by the way, with the estate planning, Russ and I have been working together for, I think it's been close to 15 years, give or take, right?
Yeah, I think so.
With clients, and he's always been great. He reviewed this chapter, by the way, on estate planning for me, which I still appreciate. Thank you very much.
Bill's in the mail.
So we're going to go over so on the basics, one of the things I talk about is the foundation of a good estate plan. So that would be, you'd want to have a general durable power for health care, a general durable power for assets, I like utilizing revocable living trusts, so we would have that, a pour over will. Now the trusts in Tennessee, by the way, people will come from other states to set up trusts in Tennessee because of how great our trust laws are. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then a living will, and of course the pour over will. All right, that's the basic part. That's the foundational part. From that, we can do a lot of different things within those documents that can protect you and that can help your wishes come true. All right, now one of the things I'm going to do right up front, Russ has been really good about this. If you called Russ's office directly to get a consultation, you charge how much?
$375.
$375 for that consultation. For you today, for the first 10 callers to my office, if you'd like to save $375, we can get a free retirement income analysis in the bargain. Here's what you do. You call 615-376-5325. Tess and Jess are standing by. They'll get your information. They'll send you out a packet to fill out, a checklist of things to bring to your appointment. And for those that want to take advantage of this special offer of being able to meet with Russ at the same time, you would want to make sure that you're bringing in with you, of course, your current estate planning documents, if you have estate planning documents, or if you come meet with me first and we go over your plan, and then we can arrange the meeting with Russ as well. And again, it won't cost you that consultation fee. So again, for the first 10 callers, 615-376-5325, this is going to be a comprehensive financial plan. So we're still going to give you all the other things we do, right? Retirement income analysis. We're going to show you your financial future. We're going to be able to, talk to you about Social Security and Medicare and how to make sure you get the most out of that, minimizing taxes. Medicare, huge decisions, very complicated. We've got great resources for you there to help you sort through the difference between original Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans as an example, among other things. Again, the tax planning piece, and of course estate planning. So again, if you're one of the first 10 callers, 615-376-5325, Jess and Tess standing by. They'll get your information. They'll send you the packet. They'll send you the checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me so that you can get the most out of this, so we can do a comprehensive plan. Not just a free consultation on this part, but we're actually going to give you a plan, which is going to take, if it takes me 2 visits, 3 visits, whatever it is, that's at no cost to you. And when you come in, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement, and then lays out within the chapters basically the process itself, including that of estate planning. And again, you get to hang out with Russ. How good is that? All right. So again, when it comes to planning, with estate planning, when clients come in, one of the first things we get into, we talk about some basics. Do you have a will now? How long ago did you do your will? Powers of attorney, do you have those? And then we get into we talk about your family situation. What are your goals? What is it you're hoping to accomplish? And then we can get into besides, and Russ, you do a lot, and this is one I want to touch on too while we're on the basics. We talked about trust, but there are different kinds of trusts, of course, not just the revocable and irrevocable, but even in that revocable space, the basic trust, and then let's say the community property trust as an example. Why don't we talk a little bit about the differences?
Yeah. A revocable trust is a trust that you create during your life that you can revoke at any time. It's really just a way of saying who gets what at my passing, and it takes the place of the will. And the fact that the trust doesn't go through probate allows for the assets inside the trust to bypass the probate process. Now, inside the revocable trust, inside the actual agreement, you can also create other types of trusts that can basically, as Hank put, enhance the benefit of that plan. One is you can make a revocable trust a community property trust. What that is a trust between husband and wife, in which at first death the assets inside it get what's called a full step up in cost basis. So for example, if you have a house that is worth $500,000, it's worth $1 million when the first spouse dies, the cost basis gets bumped up from $500,000 to $1 million. Why is that important? Well, whenever you sell a capital gain asset, you have to pay capital gains tax on that gain. And what this does is it wipes out the gain at first death, essentially. There are beneficiary controlled trusts, which are trusts created at the first spouse's death for the benefit of the survivor, or at the survivor's death for the benefit of the children. And it's designed to allow assets to be protected during that beneficiary's lifetime, although you're naming that beneficiary as both trustee and beneficiary, so that you're giving them that degree of control. And that dovetails back with Hank's comment that Tennessee has some of the best trust law in the country because our statute allows for these type of trusts.
This is one of the things when it comes to, think about this on the community property trust. Now we can take that into consideration when we're looking at financial planning or retirement planning in general. All right, so now we're going forward and we're saying during your lifetime you basically continue to do everything that you've been doing. All right, and it doesn't change in the way that you operate or your checking account, your family budget, if you have a business, it doesn't operate. It doesn't affect any of those things. The way you file your taxes is the same. The way you sign your name. I mean, creating this revocable trust, what you've done is you've created an entity that actually is for the future, but you're taking care of that business today. So when in the future, it's already handled. You're going to have the peace of mind of knowing exactly what's going to happen, and you still have the ability. Life happens, right? When life happens, it can change things, and you have the ability with a revocable living trust, of course, to make changes quite easily to accommodate whatever life might throw your way. One of the things Russ talked about with that community property trust, think about this now. When the first spouse passes and the survivor's there, one of the nice things about getting that step up in basis is it gives that surviving spouse now some options. If they had highly appreciable assets that they would normally maybe, it could be stocks, it could be real estate that they would have to, and if they were going to be liquidating to help take care of their income needs during retirement, their financial needs, one of the things that this allows them to do is to make choices about where they pull that money from. Now they've got a potentially tax-free source to pull it from compared to what may have been a very, maybe a highly taxable source. So it adds another way that you can help protect the surviving spouse just in the way that you structure those trusts up front. So that's a great way. Now another thing we're going to talk about, these are revocable trusts. So what we're going to get into when we come back from the break is we're going to talk about the difference between revocable trust and then irrevocable trust, and how those can also fit in the plan and can offer some great asset protection features. There's a lot of ways that we can employ strategies that can protect you and your family utilizing those as well, and what the differences are, both the pros and the cons, and how that might work for you. All right, but first we're going to take a little break. So join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.